Næst á dagskrá hún Kari Slinning, já, ok, frá Noregi. Kari ætlar að fjalla sem sagt þjónustuna í Noregi, geðheilbrigðisþjónustu sem að þeir innleiddu og sem að fyrir börn frá fæðingu til 3 ára aldurs og komin núna heilmikil reynsla á. Og þetta eitthvað sem að við ættum einmitt að skoða og gá hvort það myndi henta okkur. Þannig að ég segi bara, Kari, velkom.
Thank you. God morgen, alle sammen. God morgen. I don't speak Icelandic, so I have to turn to English, even though it's not my mother tongue. I'm sorry I couldn't understand what he was telling, but I understand it was something very funny. So thank you for inviting me to Iceland to this great conference on child and adolescent mental health. I must say that I am very surprised to see all these people here. I was thinking I'm going to Iceland, a small country, even smaller than Norway. So in my head, I thought I would meet about 100 participants. And a few days ago, I heard it would be 250. And now I know that there are more than 400 people here. And it's amazing. It's a fantastic opportunity. What a great opportunity to increase the knowledge base in this field, to develop common understanding, and build new collaboration across services, and with multi-professional teams, which is a must in this field, to have multi-professional teams. Perhaps some of the work we do in Norway in the field of infant mental health can be of inspiration to you. And my hope is that our countries, together with the other Nordic countries, will collaborate more in the future, both to develop better services, a Nordic model, like a golden standard, and also do common research projects. Since we are so few, we need to collaborate more to really get the good data. So, something has happened here. Is this something trick, which is also some kind of a comedy, which I'm not used to? Okay. Can you help me with this? Okay. So, the outline. I will tell you a bit about the organization, the Infant National Network in Norway, the strategy we have selected to do the work, topics for teaching and training in this field, research topics, and resource situation. Just some facts about Norway. We are a population of 5.2 million. We have about 1 million children below 18 years, 60,000 births per year. I think it's 4,000 here in Iceland. 15 to 20% of children between the age of 3 and 18 have mental health problems like anxiety, depression, behavior problems. And it is very constant. There's no decrease over the years, unfortunately. About 8% have a clinical disorder. Between 6 to 12% of infants between 4 months and 2 years have indication of developmental delays based on the ASQ, Ages and Stages Questionnaire. And from 1988 to 2008, 22% increase of young children in the child protection services in Norway. And regretfully, there are few knowledge-based interventions for this specific risk group. So we have a lot of work to do. Here you see our country. It's long stretched. We have 4 regional centers that work with child and adolescent mental health. We have one in Ósló, which is here, on the west coast, the mid of Norway, and up north. So we have colleagues, we collaborate together. Okay. And we also have these regional centers for child and adolescent mental health is for the age group 0 to 18. But we have the National Network for Infant Mental Health that works with pregnancy-related problems and the infancy period, or we have stretched it to 0 to 5. It was 0 to 3, but now 0 to 5. We have the green circle in the Ósló area. Here we have the biggest part of the population in Norway, and we have some colleagues in each of the other regionals, so we collaborate to spread the knowledge on infant mental field. Here you see, just to let you know how the system is, the organization. We have the Department of Children, Family and Equality and Ministry of Health and Care Services. They are the ones that are funding us. Each year we got funding to do the work in the child and adolescent mental health. But we have the directorates, the Norwegian Directorate of Health and the Norwegian Directorate for Children, Youth and Family Affairs, that each year ask us to do specific tasks to improve the services and the research in this field. So I showed you on the map these 4 regional centers, and this center in Ósló have the Infant Mental Health Network. And our services are the NICUs in the hospitals, those who work with premature and sick newborns, the well baby clinics, the daycare, infant team, child psychiatry, and the child protection services. Those are the ones we collaborate with. So aims of the RBUP, the main aim was original to contribute to increase quality and equality in the child and adolescent psychiatry in this long stretch country. It's hard to have equality in the services. But now it is to improve the services to all services within all essential areas in the work with children and adolescent mental health, 0 to 18, include kindergarten and schools. We have to build good mental health in the kindergarten and schools as well. The letter of assignment from the Health Department and the Health Directorate for 2017 underscored that the primary tasks are now close collaboration with the services. And we have to give priority to the municipalities, to primary health care. Stimulate research activities in the services, provide postgraduate education and training, and other activities for further development of the field. So here you see our system. The ground system is the primary care level, where we do health promotion and prevention, and also short-term, low-threshold interventions. So not only health promotion and prevention. We have the well baby clinics, who are the main target services we work on the primary health care. Here we have the midwives, the public health nurses, the GPs and pediatricians, although there are very few of them, and child physiotherapists. All these 4 professionals are in the well baby clinics. Yet we still don't have many psychologists, but there is some good work on having more psychologists also in the well baby clinics. The secondary specialist level, here we have the child adolescent mental health services. And in Norway, we have now a lot of infant mental health teams in the child and adolescent psychiatry. And that's because we saw for many years that they didn't see the young children. The children between 0 and 3, they were almost non-existent in the child and adolescent psychiatry. So they decided that we have to give priorities to the youngest one. We have to build separate infant teams. So there should be a group of professionals in the psychiatry who should work only with the young ones to specialize, because it is a field, very specialized field. And we have the tertiary and very, very special level with the hospitals like the NICUs and family units for parents with drug dependency. So in 2006, 11 years ago, the National Network for Infant Mental Health was established, and it has the men responsible for strengthening services for infant mental health in Norway. The network gets each year a letter of assignment with the main task to report it on, and we get about 188 million Icelandic crowns per year, and some year we got a lot more. We have about 16 positions and some PhDs. We got an extra 300 million Icelandic crowns since 2015 to pilot test the nurse family partnership, thank you, program, where we have 14 positions doing this work, for going to pilot it for 5 years. And in this network, researchers and clinicians work very closely together. So we do teaching together, we do research together. So, the main objectives of the infant mental work: to improve identification and early effective interventions to infants at risk for developmental delay and mental health disorders, to build bridge between the areas of research and clinical application, to make sure that the new research, the new knowledge, should be spread out to the services, to develop and validate scientific findings with relevance to mental health practitioners, and to strengthen collaboration between primary and specialist level. We need more collaboration, and to provide knowledge about the validity of screening tools to identify infants at risk, and suitable assessment and treatment methods for young children and their families. The tasks related to research are further defined by the Ministry of Health and Care Services as follows: contribute to development of scientific, practice-relevant, multi-professional and evidence-based knowledge within all central areas of the work with infant mental health. Emphasize development of knowledge and competence that promote prevention, treatment, and consumer participation, which is very important in the work of infant mental health. So everything we do about interventions should be based on research. It should be based on what the clinicians themselves find useful, and not least important is the users themselves, the families. Do they like it? Do they feel comfortable with this kind of intervention? So we have to use all these three perspectives when we decide what kind of intervention we should use. So areas of priority: women's perinatal mental health. Premature infants, we have 6% each year that are born premature. We know they have a lot of mental health issues along the road as they grow. To promote a healthy parent-infant relationship between the premature infants and the parents. Early identification of at-risk infants and families in the primary care. And testing and implementation of relationship-based interventions in primary care, specialist level, and daycare. So when we do all this work, we feel very secure because we have nice collaboration and international support. We collaborate a lot with the World Association of Infant Mental Health, the WAME organization, and the Nordic affiliation of the WAME, the International Attachment Society, the Nordic Attachment Network, the Marseille Society that work on strengthening perinatal mental health. They also have a Nordic affiliation, the Nordic Marseille. So these are really nice research and clinical associations that we collaborate and get inspired from. Theory and research is based on attachment and framework of the transactional model, which was developed by Arnold Samaroff. There's something saying there is no such thing as a baby, Winnicott said that many years ago. And Bruce Stern, she said, and there's no such thing as a mother or a father. Their selves are formed in unique relationship. So we have to know both parts and support these two parts together. So everything we do is relationship-based. An infant's development is completely dependent on a healthy relationship with its primary caregivers. So we have to address the relationship, not the child alone, not the adult alone. So what's our strategy? We have annual, regional and/or national conferences about infant mental health and relationship-based interventions. In collaboration with the regional centers and the local mental health services and child protection services, and importance of local ownership and shared responsibility. We have 1 or 2 day seminar and conferences for professionals working with infants and young children in daycare. In Norway now, between 80 and 90% of all infants between 1 and 2 years are in daycare. The majority more than 40 hours per week. And we can't build on pedagogic theory when we're going to support these children. They need more attachment-based, relationship-based theory. So the main issues we address on these conferences are the young infants need an attachment person in the daycare. The attitude out there is we shouldn't have one single adult for this child. They need to relate to all. They shouldn't feel that something is special for them. We say, no, that's wrong. They really need an attachment figure. They need someone to trust who knows how to soothe, how to protect, how to support. And we have also the other topic, which is parents need only 3 days to help their young infants go into the daycare. And the staff says parents can leave after 2 days because the child cries when the parent leaves. So you go and the child will be fine. We say no. You should use the time the child needs. The child will show when it's ready. So support parents, have individual adapted ways to support the parent and child. When we have these conferences, we always have speakers from the national network, researchers and clinicians, and we have speakers from the local services to have empowerment focus. So people can talk about what they do in their region, what are their experiences, how do they want to develop further. So after these conferences, we have increasing requests for education and training in screening and assessment tools, and programs for early intervention in both primary care and specialist level. So we don't go out and say, you should be training. We talk, we go to the conferences, and people start to think, I think I should learn more about this. I think we have to strengthen our services. And they come to us and ask, could you please arrange some training, conference in our region, and so on. So that's the way we work. Another strategy is to produce reports, books, e-learning programs, and scientific articles. So here you see some few. These 2 books are really huge books with about 40 chapters each. This is a handbook for infant mental health in Norwegian, with primarily Norwegian contributors, so that the health practitioners can relate to the Norwegian people. Oh, I know you. Now you have developed this thinking, of course based on international research and so on, but that's quite important. And this is a book for the well baby clinics. And this is a book about identifying and treating women with depression in pregnancy and postpartum. So the strategy to promote positive perinatal mental health In Norway, as in other countries, 10 to 15% of women have moderate to severe symptoms of depression in pregnancy and postpartum. So we decided to implement the Edinburgh method based on the EPDS, which is a 10-point scale addressing symptoms of depression. We use it in the well baby clinics. The midwives and the public health nurses invite all mothers to fill in this questionnaire, and they have a conversation about what they answered and exploring why they're feeling like they do right now. To do this, we have developed a training program for midwives and public health nurses, 4 days, training in perinatal mental health, and it's about screening, difference between screening and diagnostics, and counseling, training in counseling. We have now doing this program in 300 out of 400 municipalities in Norway. If they're going to be trained, they need, we say, you have to have monthly supervision based on interpersonal counseling, empathic listening, by a psychologist or a psychiatrist for a 2-year period to develop your way of supporting the women. And also to know, when should I stop this? You should only give 4 to 6 counseling hours. If they need more, you should refer to specialist care. The first day in this 4 days training, we invite all services in the region, so they are aware that the well baby clinics are going to start to identify women who need support. And these women could have many, many reasons for being depressed. Some have a drug dependency, some have partnership, relationship problems, you know, a lot of different things. So the midwives and nurses need to know that they can quickly refer the women to other services. So they need a list with names, telephone numbers, so they can immediately send a request and say, please, you have to take these women and help. 5 minutes left, thank you. We also do education of supervisors and therapists. We need more people to supervise these midwives and public health nurses. So midwives, psychologists, psychiatrists are offered postgraduate training in perinatal mental health to improve support and treatment. Of pregnant and postpartum women with mental health problems. So this is a training program that lasts for 3 semesters. They come in for 2 days every second month. The first day is about theory. The second day is to do clinical work, to get supervision on clinical work. And we have national and regional day seminars and conferences about perinatal mental health, where we invite professionals from other countries, like John Cox, who developed the EPDS, Ian Brockington, who is a psychiatrist in the perinatal mental health, and so on. We do postgraduate education in infant mental health. We have a 2-year program for multi-professionals in primary care and specialist level. They come in 2 days a month, both training and supervision. The content builds on the 1001 critical days, although we started this 10 years before the 1000 critical days was addressed. Theory, assessment, and treatment methods. And they have a written examination on the end of the education. We train in some tools for early identification of infants and families at risk in primary care. And we have decided that the ages and stages questionnaire is a very useful instrument to use in the well baby clinics. I don't know if you know this instrument, but there are 30-item questionnaire for children between 0 to 66 months. Focus on children's general development and social emotional development. It's to be completed by the parents. So parents are the one who knows the child the best. So they are prepared when they come in to the Well Baby Clinic. They have had a special observation of the child, watching, wondering, feeling joy and sometimes feeling worries about the child's development, so they could be more active in the conversation with the health practitioners. And the nice thing with this tool is the responses are either the child does this activity often, or the child does this activity sometimes, or not yet. And the not yet is really nice because it says something about what's coming up. What's the next step in the child's development? And immediately most parents will start to reflect and think, oh, I have to do some preparation so my child will go to the next step in their development. We train people in the Alarm Distress Baby Scale. It's an 8-item scale to identify infants with early symptoms of social withdrawal behavior. Ages between 2 to 24 months. It's to be completed by health practitioners. So note, training in the ASQ and ADBB should include infant mental health workers from the specialist level in the region. Identified children should be referred to further assessment and treatment, and there should be no waiting list. We can't do this kind of assessment. We can't identify infants if we don't feel safe, secure, that they can be referred quickly to health professionals that know what to do. Assessment and evaluation tools in the specialist level. Then we recommend in the infantine, in the child psychiatry, to use the Bailey scales of infant development because they have done the ASQ in the Well Baby clinics. So the Bailey is a more comprehensive assessment on the child's development, the ITSEA, socio-emotional development, and the child behavior checklist, where both parents and teachers can complete the questionnaires. And they have to do parent-child interaction evaluation. And we use the parent-child early relational assessment, PC-ERA, or the emotional availability scale. And most infants team use the diagnostic classification 0 to 3 system, which is really nice because it helps to look for the very different perspectives and what kind of methods you can use. We have some early interventions for pregnancy. We have developed an internet-based intervention to prevent postpartum depression and promote well-being for mother, father, and child. And the target group are for all pregnant women. And we have the nurse-family partnership, which we are piloting, which is for women at high risk. Weekly follow-up by trained midwives or public health nurses from early pregnancy to 24 months postpartum. And here we have a long list of different relationship interventions. All interventions we choose are relationship-based. I don't think I would have time to go through the list. But we have something for the newborns, and we continue with different relationship-based intervention for older infants, young children. We have some research projects. I've told you about the international collaboration, which is very important for us to develop this field. And I would end by saying something about the today's situation. The 10 first year of this, in this infant mental health network, we had what we call earmarked funds for infant mental health. We got a certain amount of money each year to do the infant mental health. From 2017, the government said it's not necessary any longer to earmark this money. But please still continue to do the great work. But we have to really now struggle to have the director in our regional centers to put the money into infant mental health work. So we don't feel safe that we will have the same priority anymore. So that's something we feel a bit worried about. And if we should continue this work, we would like to double the amount of money to really become sure that we can have equality in the services across the long stretch country, because we have a lot of work to continue with. Okay, there we are. Thanks you for listening.